You cannot begin construction without Architectural Review Board approval.
Oh.
These bylaws explicitly forbid it. We followed all county codes.
Blue lights washed my living room as cold air leaked through the doorframe, and I smelled wet asphalt from the street. At 4:27 a.m., a police officer tapped my window because someone said my porch light was a code hazard. I was in socks, holding a mug of bitter coffee, blinking at the flashing lights on May 3rd, 2024, while my motion camera clicked. Across the road stood Karen from the HOA board, arms crossed, robe tied hard, chin up like a flagpole. She pointed at my bulb like it had bitten her. The officer sighed and left when he saw the wattage sticker. I stared at the door, and that's when the second hit came, a fat packet taped to my porch with cold, wet tape. Karen posted, "Rules are rules," on my porch. With 63 pages. Too bad I am the code director. That is the fight. Her packet smelled like toner. The cover said, "Immediate action required," in big block letters. My favorite was the page demanding I repaint my mailbox beige by 9:00 p.m., like the sun answers to Karen. Another page claimed my driveway lines were too bold. She had sticky notes on sticky notes. "Rules are rules," said the top note in her sharp handwriting, with a smiley face that looked like a threat. I rubbed my temples, the cold air cutting through my t-shirt, and I laughed once. It sounded like a cough. I knew every real code in our city by heart. I also knew these weren't it. I tried to handle it the neighbor way. Knocked on her door at 10:12 a.m., polite voice, calm breath. Karen opened 2 inches and spoke through the gap like I was selling soap. I said, "This looks like a misunderstanding." She said, "Compliance is not personal." I asked to bring it to the next HOA meeting. She said the agenda was full. I called the board president. He said he'd get back to me. He didn't. In the street, I saw blinds shift as people watched. A dad on a bike whispered to his kid, eyes wide. By the end of the day, I had 3 new notices in my mailbox. One said my trash can lid was a 1/4 inch open. It wasn't. Another said a guest car was parked too long. It was my sister's, for 40 minutes. I felt the heat crawl up my neck. I decided my line in the sand was now. I promised myself and my wife, proper channels only. No yelling, no dirt, just facts. I set the binder on the table and started a receipts montage. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. On the first page, I wrote big, timeline. Then I added a labeled entry. Timeline item 1, April 5th at 4:27 a.m., false trespass call. Next, April 19th, 7:05 p.m., false noise complaint. Next, May 3rd, 4:27 a.m., porch light complaint. I pulled the HOA bylaws and the actual municipal ordinances. I highlighted the difference between backyard lights and porch lights. Plain law line, patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I typed a request under our state's Open Records Act for HOA enforcement logs and contact with police. When the reply came, the file landed with 63 pages. In it were 5 complaints from one address. It was hers. Dates, times, even the weird spelling of my last name matched. Now I set the stage. I filed a formal agenda request for the next HOA meeting with documentation attached. I CC'd the city clerk and the community police liaison. The board had to accept it. They did, but I knew they'd try to hide it. So I booked the clubhouse on the same night for a neighborhood safety talk, open to all. I posted a calm invite, learn how city code really works. I brought a projector and a cheap laser pointer. I wore my work badge, because I am, in fact, the code director. The room smelled like coffee and folded chairs. Karen arrived 10 minutes late with her hair sprayed like a helmet and a stack of printouts. She tried to start with rules are rules. I clicked to slide 1. It read, what the law says versus what a memo says. I showed my mailbox photo next to the actual ordinance section. People leaned forward. Someone whispered, "Oh, wow." The payoff twist came when I rolled a short clip. My porch camera footage with timestamps matched each complaint. During one, the street was quiet except for crickets. I paused the clip and laid down the public logs next to it. The same times. Then the big reveal. The Open Records emails showed Karen urging the board to escalate fines of $250 per day for my supposed violations. But in the bylaws, fines require a vote and actual cause. My laser pointer traced the clause. The room went silent, then a neighbor snorted. Another held up a phone. Recording started, screens glowing. Karen's smile stayed frozen, like a sticker peeling off wrong. I didn't crow. I said we all want a safe neighborhood. We also want truth. I clicked to the last slide, how to fix this step by step. The laughter broke loose from the back row. Phones were out now. Comments flew. Someone said our mailbox is beige. Are we safe? Another said free the porch lights. A teen whispered Karen is trending to her friend. In the clubhouse chat, a link popped up to a clip of Karen's sticky notes. It got 1,000 views before we finished the meeting. People laughed when the projector showed a board email that spelled ordinance as ordinance. I kept it kind and steady. If you have concerns, send them to my office. We will help you do it right. A neighbor I barely knew tugged my sleeve and said thank you for standing up without blowing up. It felt good and heavy at the same time. The coffee had gone cold, but the room was warm. Then authority flipped. The community police liaison, who had sat quiet, cleared his throat. He said we reviewed the April and May calls and found no basis. He looked at Karen. False or misleading calls drain resources. Next, the city inspector, who I invited as a guest, read a short note into the record. The HOA cannot create new codes. Only the city can. The board president checked his phone like it could save him. It didn't. The board voted to suspend all fines, issue a correction, and remove Karen as compliance chair pending review. The liaison also explained a formal warning process. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. The words hung easy and simple in the air. Karen's cheeks were red. She left her stack behind. The aftermath felt like someone turned off a leaf blower that had been on for weeks. The week after, kids chalked the sidewalks. The dad on the bike waved with his whole hand. My sister visited and parked without fear. The board posted a new policy. All notices require photo evidence and a real citation. Karen lost her seat, kept her house, and had to attend a training on dispute resolution. She also wrote a note to the block, short and stiff, saying she regretted the confusion. I chose not to gloat. I mowed my lawn and helped my elderly neighbor fix a fence hinge that had squeaked since winter. Peace is quiet, like late evening when the porch light hums and no one calls it a hazard. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.